Hey guys, Mitchell here. I'm going to, here's my truck. You can see I just, just a truck, But, there you can see, there she be, downright wonderful. Works like a beauty. Done finished my, switch over, and I'm going to, let you guys see the steps I did. So, the first thing I gotta do is I got to, change into my mechanicking hat, Okay. So the first thing, of course, was pulling the manual out of the donor truck that I had. So of course, as always, you go in, and I left my skid plate out so I could show you guys better. But you have your skid plate that runs across here and up into here, protects your transfer case and such. So yeah, first thing you do is you pull that out. Pretty simple. I don't know if the steps are right, but next I went and took off my drivetrains. As you can see, I still don't have my front one hooked up. I'm still waiting on a U-joint, but it is what it is. Front drive line, and it's just those 4 bolts up there on the yokes. Just drop those, and then you can take these here fellers off of that there, and that'll drop that front drive line. The rear one works in the same way. You just got a bunch of little bolts into the yoke holding that dude on. Just drop those, and then the way the front of the rear drive line works is it's just a shaft that pulls out of there. Okay, that was weird. It happens, and then you to be able to pull that out, you gotta, on a long bed crew on a club cab version truck, you got a damn support right there. The support that you got to drop the 4 bolts off. It's just easiest to take them right there at the frame where they connect to the frame. It's the easiest, the cross member. So after that, you're basically to the point of jacking up your transmission, getting them stable, and then you can drop your support. You got 8 bolts into the side of your frame, just right in through here. Kind of a pain to get to, but they're fine. You got to get your mount, your transmission mount out, which is just those little bolts there, and then another setup on top, and that's all ready to drop out. Then everything's nice and cleaned up, everything's out of your way. I even went to the process of removing part of my muffler to make it even easier. Gives you more room to play with. Okay, so then once you get into there, you got a bunch of cords to remove and such. On the manual, just pull everything. It's alright. Actually, on the automatic, do the same. It's alright. It's all easy to go plug back in once you're done, but you got to watch yourself. Vacuum lines are pretty easy to break. They're the little red and what do we got? We got the reds and the blacks and the greens and the whites. They're the little plastic cords that run through here. You got to be careful with those because they bust pretty dang easy. You got to be careful with them. Once you get stuff done, once you get that stuff done, you can take off your transfer case. I'd split it up into 3 parts is how the best way to do it, in my opinion. So you take your transfer case off. It's 6 little bolts in there, something like a 14 or a 15 millimeter. Pretty good for getting to an end wrench, though. Of course, can't get in there with anything else. Got him dropped. Then you got to take off your slave cylinder because he'll get into your way. And then you can drop your transmission. And while you're dropping your transmission, you got to watch yourself. Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot about your linkage to your transfer case. You got to get that because it is bolted onto the transmission, unless you want to split another time and take out your rear seal on your transmission, and that's no fun. Don't do that. I would not touch that. But when you're getting ready to drop your transmission, you got to watch yourself. You might have to, depends on whether you want to save your boot or not. I did, so I unbolted that, unscrewed that all first. But basically, that's pretty well how simple it is. And then your bell housing, that's just as simple, especially if you got the transmission out of your way. That's simple as easy to pull. Okay, so on the automatic, as you can see, I still have my coolant lines on from when I had my automatic. You got to, there's a lot more cords to pull, but it's basically the same procedure. You know, you got your danged old, it's snowing. Darn it, beautiful, dust blowing and snowing. Cool. You got your coolant lines, and you know, I left mine hanging for right now. I'll get to taking those out. They're worth like $200 online. I'll get to taking those out one of these days, make some money off of this here project. But yep, so going back in with him though, that's the trick. You know, you got to have all the right parts. I had the donor truck, so that gives me the right front drive shaft. You can use the same rear drive shaft. As you can see, there's about that inch of shiny metal sticking out. That's alright. You know, it's just, you know, it is what it is. What can you say? That's alright though. Everybody online says that's alright. Just go look on Cummins forum. Everybody says it's alright. And also replace U-joints, you know. Might as well if you're in there. And another thing you ought to do when you're taking care of your transmission is look at your tear them into them. You know, you already got them out. You might as well look at your fifth wheel nut or fifth gear nut, because that causes some problems. You know, make sure he ain't backed off on you. But going in, you know, just kind of straight, same as pulling them out. Just wiggle them around, play with them. Ain't too hard actually. Pretty dang easy. I don't know why more people don't do this. They're just scared of the idea of mechanicking on their own stuff. But yeah, I reckon so. But as you can see, I still need to go on with my skid plate, but I ain't gonna touch that until I get my drive shaft, my U for my drive shaft, and get that all taken care of. Okay, so under here, the pedal, I actually went and pulled the pedal assembly out of the donor truck because I wasn't sure how it went together. What it is it's just here, this cigarette sitting under here, steering wheel comes through across here, and you've got, here's how it looks in the automatic. I'll show you that first, maybe, if you ain't seasick. That's how it looks like coming out of the automatic. And what you do is just reach in there. You got to take off some chunks of metal and stuff, but you just reach in there, slip out this pin right here. You pull your brake pedal out, and your clutch pedal and your brake pedal for your manual, your standard, are only about this wide, each of them. So then you get to stack two of them right next to each other, going in right in there, and it fits right handy. And there goes my good hat. I didn't go pick up my luck. All spilled out, I reckon. Damn, man! Who called for all this damn wind? I was up on top chopping water earlier. You know, it was 10 degrees last night, so you got to chop water, but there weren't hardly any water to chop because it's all a lot of playing around. You know, got to get a pair of vice grips to wiggle stuff around and such. But it all kind of fits in there right nicely. Everybody asked me, everybody who had ideas about telling me not to do this was saying, bad stuff about getting my clutch assembly in there, and that was actually the easiest part. I mean, the time it took me to put in my, and of course, you know, this here hole is already in there. It's already in there to start with. Everybody just runs wires through it and such, so you just got to pull your wires. But I mean, I spent a total of an hour getting my clutch run through and this clutch pedal in. So I was pretty tickled with that. What else? Oh yeah. Well, that was easy, you know, running this through here. It's just, I just took a grinder and ground out a big old hole. That was fairly downright simple. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, fairly simple. I did pull out my seats just to make myself some room as I was working in there. But, you know, seats is 8 bolts. That ain't diddly squat. You know, 8 bolts and 2 screws, something like that. Or 4 screws. So, that's what I reckon. So, I'm going to fire them up and let you guys see now that it's actually light. You can see we're going to take a spin. And, yeah, I reckon so. Also, wiring. That was what I had my main troubles with. I actually caused my computer to do some awful things. He was actually making my auto shutdown relay fire. So it was automatically shutting down every time I tried to crank my engine, and it had to do with, I reckon, I have no idea. I somehow got them fixed, but what I did is I just spliced my neutral safety switch. So you go into your neutral safety switch on your automatic. It's a 3-prong plug. You take a tester, and you find out which one's hot, and the way you tell what's hot, bad tape. The way you tell it's hot is when it's when you got your cranking position on your starter. When you hold in your cranking position on your starter, one of them will show up as hot, and that's sending current through to a switch in the automatic transmission, which then allows current back into it, back through wires, you know, to complete current. That's the way current works, you know, got to flow. So what you do is just find which one's hot, and then you take the other two and just test with them to see which one allows it to turn over. And that's the way I figured that out. I just bypassed it, and the same with my clutch switch. You know, I don't have to, I'll show you guys, you know, make sure you're in neutral. Always make sure you're in neutral. But that's basic idea, right? You know, if anybody's in my truck, they shouldn't be too stupid to start and, you know. But you can see I don't have to push in my clutch to start. I just bypass that dude. And what's really weird is sometimes, see, just went away. Sometimes my transmission temperature light is on and sometimes it isn't. I have no idea. I ain't going to worry about it. Right now I have no more lights flashing up than normal. Some people have said that they have troubles with their lights. Their dashboard does all kinds of flashing at them. I haven't had diddly squat for trouble. You know, my sensors, because I don't have my vacuum lines in, so my four-wheel drive sensors flopping around inside there with vibration, but you know, that happens. So, here's what that 3-prong going into your transmission looks like. I just cut off my wires. I don't need the cigarette anymore, though I probably shouldn't have cut them that close. That one was stupid as, you know. That's what it looks like, and you just find out which one's hot, and then you take the other two and just play with them. Yep. Figure out what works. So let's go take him for a spin now that he's halfway warmed up. And of course, you know, you can take the lever off there. It's just a simple pin, but I'm going to leave him in there just because I think it builds character. Plus, it's something good to hang shit on. I mean, hang keys on there, right? Everybody does that. Yep. And it's just a blowing, and I really don't want to get out of this truck now that it's warming up. Maybe I go take a drive up Corkscrew. See you guys later.